I'm Dr. Kathleen Walls.
And I am Louise Victor.
And we are watching the Sisters in Harmony Network. Welcome to Dr. Walls and Friends on SIH Global One. I am here live in Sans Souci and Castries on the beautiful island of St. Lucia. And I am joined with two members of the Ethiopian World Federation. How are you doing this evening?
Doing great, thank you.
Fine.
Wonderful. Would you please introduce yourselves to our audience?
Okay, well, greetings first of all. I am Sister Tashai. I am actually the treasurer of the Federation in St. Lucia. And I have my brother here.
Yeah, I am Albert Alexander, but they call me Wadali.
All right.
It's my Rastafarian.
Okay.
I am the Sergeant at Arms, which is responsible for security, to maintain discipline, order.
Okay.
And I'm also the chairman of the Agriculture Committee.
Wonderful. All right. Well, can you tell us a little bit about, and you two can decide who wants to tell about the Federation. I hadn't heard about the Federation until you asked me to come talk with you all.
Okay. Well,
In St. Lucia.
In St. Lucia, yes.
Yeah.
No, I hadn't heard about the Federation, period.
Wow.
Right. And then when I went to do my research, I'm like, oh my goodness, it's everywhere.
Yes. Yes.
And then I'm trying to figure out why I hadn't heard about the Federation.
Yeah.
And the mission is beautiful. So tell the people, Tasha, why don't you tell the people a little bit about...
Okay, well, the Federation, Ethiopian World Federation, was established by His Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie I in Ethiopia. The objective of establishing the Federation was for persons of African descent globally. They could actually, if they wanted like assistance or wanted to go back to Africa, maybe Shashamane in particular, because that's a piece of land His Majesty gave to, you could say, West Indians or people of African descent throughout the world. If they wanted to come back to Africa, he gave this little piece of land, which was his personal piece of land, to the Rastafarian community, so they could go back if they wanted to, or anybody of African descent could go through the Federation for assistance for different projects you may be thinking of, where you could uplift black people, males, females, families, that type of thing. So you find there's different branches all over the world, just like you have many different Christian religions.
Yes.
You have the Rastafarians, you have the 12 tribes of Ashanti, the Bingis, Ethiopian Federation, but at the same time you'll have one heartbeat, which is his.
They have these various ways, to do things. So basically the Federation is one established by His Majesty. So we really take that as a serious thing. Those who are in the Federation, to give it full respect and try to maintain the Federation as I guess he expected it to be.
Yes.
There are certain guidelines and things that we do follow.
Yes.
And it's for non-Rasta and Rasta alike. So I would like to say that it's not a Rastafarian thing, but the Rastafarians are the ones who basically got hold of the mantle and went with it.
Okay.
But you do have other people, even in Ethiopia, they're not necessarily Rasta, but it's theirs, you understand? Which has been given to us. And we now, in turn, from our different places where we live in the world, we can actually link with each other, do different projects, do agriculture work, do auxiliary work for the children, the juveniles, the family unit, and try to basically uplift ourselves and strengthen one another in that respect, So it's not only Rasta thing per se, it's for all black people of African descent.
That's important. Is there anything you'd like to add to that?
To strengthen or to add to what she said, it was established in 1937.
That's the part. I was in May. I think it's August 25th, 1937.
Yes.
It's a long time.
Yes.
And what it was basically for was at the time of the war. I don't know if you remember Ethiopia-Italian war.
Yes.
During from 1945 to 1941.
Right.
So after all the atrocities that were done to the Ethiopians, so last year he came to Europe, and he was agitating. He went to the League of Nations to plead his cause, and there was a Dr. Emmanuel Malaku.
I think so.
Malaku,
Yes.
Dr. Malaku.
Yes, that rings a bell. Yes.
They drafted the bylaws or the constitution,
Yes.
but it was for the Africans in the diaspora
Yes.
to help his cause, during the war in 1940, 1941. So basically it was an armed form to help the black peoples that were being prosecuted or
Killed and
or dehumanized at that
Yeah.
time.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's like I said, it's amazing that it's so long standing, and I know that there were 3 males based out of Harlem that were also instrumental
Yes.
in establishing the Federation.
Right.
And so, like I said, being from the States and being from Philadelphia, so that's just one state, 1-2 states away from
Yeah.
New York, to not have heard about the Federation,
Yeah.
it's, at this point, really it's embarrassing not to know that piece of
Yeah.
information.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, they're doing a lot of good works around the world. Different countries have different agendas in terms
Yes.
of projects they're tackling. But like my brother just said, it was established during that time, the war,
Yes.
Italy versus Ethiopia.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So he did establish for the assistance of the people there, to sort of uplift them, to assist where they needed it.
Help.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Now, how did you two become, and I'll let you go first,
Yeah.
how did you become involved?
Well, basically what happened, we saw that there was a need for a unity, right, amongst black people. And we found that in St. Lucia it was lacking just for maybe lack of knowledge, lack of understanding, as to the ultimate goal, Basically it's coming together to develop in whatsoever form, educationally, spiritually, mentally, economically, and just to bring back that ancient vibes that the black people always had
Yes.
before,
Yeah.
from day one, So basically, I became involved in this thing for that kind of cause,
Okay.
just as Marcus Garvey's and the Malcolm X and Nkrumah, Steve Biko,
Yes.
Walter Rodney.
Yes. All the leaders.
So many
yes.
of them.
Yes.
Struggle. Yeah.
That unity piece and that community, which is part innately of people from the diaspora,
Yes.
Yes.
is to work together collectively. As we always talk about, it takes a village to raise a child.
Yes.
Exactly.
It takes a village to do everything.
That's right. Yes.
And so even as you talk about the land, and we'll talk about the agriculture in a minute, and how important that is, that we are able to grow our own food and feed ourselves.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, so before we talk about that, how did you get involved?
Well, I was involved from the UK. There was a group in the UK, actually St Agnes Place in London, and I was involved from then. I think that's around 1980-81, and did a lot of community-based work there with people, the downtrodden, people like that, trying to assist one another. It's the same upliftment, no matter where you go, we're trying to get people who need that support. So I did a lot of work there with that. And since being in St. Lucia now, I was so happy to know when it established here, because I was familiar with it. So trying to establish it here in the Caribbean, I thought great opportunity,
Yes.
and just join as well to sort of, assist where I can,
Yes.
basically. So here I am, the treasurer, and also I had the women's auxiliary as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we were talking a little off camera, so there's several different divisions, with agriculture being one of them.
Yes.
So you've mentioned that there's the women's auxiliary,
Yes.
and what are the other
Yeah,
facets?
means.
Education.
Education, ways and means.
There's a juvenile section,
Sick committee.
sick committee.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's also a musical unit.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. So
We have different,
You gonna sing me a song?
of course.
Okay.
yeah, so basically, that is it in a nutshell, for St. Lucia. So we just, like I said, we're a baby in this. It's been a year.
Okay.
A year and change. So we still have a lot of growth to go through. We're trying to mobilize at the same time, get people interested
Yes.
and coming in,
Yes.
to assist and stuff. Especially in these times,
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Walls, that
Mhm.
these times we're living is really
stressful, hectic, as we know, there's wars everywhere and problems everywhere. It's nice to know that at least you have somewhere you could say, okay, I could go to my little committee and I could, get a little strength there if I need assistance with this or that, or, just to rub off each other.
That's right.
Because we all need each other, we're not separate, we do need each other.
That's right.
So.
Well, we're going to take a quick break and we're going to come back and we're going to talk about this agricultural piece and also put a call out to the world for any assistance that might be needed.
Definitely.
All right, so we'll be back shortly on Dr. Walls and Friends.